All right, you mother jumpers. It's Thursday, November 16th, 2023. God, I'm going to the gym, even though I feel like shit. I gotta lose this weight. It's fucking too much. Like 200 was always perfect for me, and I'm like at 230 now, and it's like I'm just tired of it. You know, I mean, I'm still extremely good looking, but and the joke is that I'm not, and I'm saying it. That's the joke. But here's the pet peeve, and I'm not going to mention any names because it's so hard, because life is fucking hard. You have ups and you have downs, and as you get older, you know, people start dying, and you know, you deal with a lot. That's life. Life is tough. But I fucking hate people who say, you know, yeah, I hate my life, or I wish, you know, for this or that. It's just like, shut up. And I don't want to do that, because I don't want to minimize people's pain. Just because I have stage 4 cancer doesn't mean that you don't have problems. Doesn't mean that things don't hurt. Of course it does. But I can always, like, you know, I see something like that, and you know, I want to say, really, this is what I want to say. If someone says, you know, I don't like my life, do you want to trade? I would love to trade. That would be great, because you know, I have survived stage 4 lung cancer for a long time. It's almost going on 9 years. I think I'm at the tail end, you know. I don't have any medicines left, you know, except for chemo and lorlatinib, which is for my brain. They think maybe that might still be working, so you might as well, you know, do double chemo. And I'm just thinking, man, I would love. Do not even know this person's situation in life. I'm sure that person's dealing with some pretty heavy stuff. But would I trade with them? Yeah. If you told me that I could go to the gym and I could work out and I would feel really good, and I would get softball back, and you know, probably not football because I'm 51, but you know, I was doing that at the time. I had a great job, you know. And then it's not like, hey man, I love radio, but I'm just gonna quit because I can. No, it's like I had to choose between that and being a dad, and it took me like 0 time. I'm like, that's more important, you know. By far, being a dad is more important. But like, when you get, you know, 8.5 years out, you're kind of like, you know, at the time, I was thinking, well, if things don't go perfectly, which is what they have to do, for me to still be alive, those medicines need to work approximately 2.5 years, their shelf life, which is what they did. But it's just, I wasn't making a video to say that I want people to know, and my kids to know, because they're the only ones watching this shit. Why would anybody fucking watch this? You know, maybe a few friends, but you know, whatever. Not whatever about you, if you're my friend. Feel fortunate. I don't have a lot of friends, and that's my choice. I don't think I could be friends with people anymore, because I'm so disenchanted at how dumb people are. I'm just glad, well, I'm just glad that my best friend is not a dummy, you know. Although it still pisses me off that his work forced him to get that shot, man. That I fucking think about that all the time. time. Like, is he gonna be the next person to, like, fuck that, man. I don't even want to talk about that. It just pisses me off so very much. But what was I rambling on? See, this is like, now my pet peeve of like, I would love to be able to go to the gym and get my health back. Then I would get my job back, and then, you know, life would be great, you know? But, like, I can't change a terminal diagnosis. All I can do is wade through the bullshit. Like, for example, me going to the gym right now with a cold or RSV, whatever the fuck they're calling it, and it's on top of, it's just on top of everything else. And it's just like, you know, on one half you're like, I get it, man, life's hard, okay, and you want to support that person, but just between, like, you and me, that fucking pisses me off. You're gonna complain about your life you're living right now in what's ostensibly the greatest period in all of history. Like, you have heat and electricity and running water, and I don't think people realize just how fucking brutal it was before, you know, amoxicillin and, you know, these antivirals, you know, the medication that we have, and of course that's gone too far too. But I could sit here and I could talk all day about that. But if at the very least, you know, one of my kids is listening to this, they're going to not, you know, it's okay to complain. It is. And life is, it's gonna be ups and downs and stuff like that. But you really should have perspective. And no matter how bad it is, even me, I'm just like, I'm not in the hospital today. I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna take my dog for a walk. You know, and it doesn't seem like big things, but fucking to me, that's a huge thing. I've been in the hospital countless times, and it is, it's not a good thing. It's not a good feeling. You feel lonely. You feel, you know, you know, I can make a joke about it. It's like, you know, when you're feeling down and bad about your life and stuff like that, just be glad you're not in the hospital pissing yourself like I was. You know, I had that brain met, and apparently it wasn't in a good spot because I couldn't even do simple puzzles, you know, and I was aware that I couldn't do it, which is fucking horrible. I'd rather not be aware, you know, and just, oh, he turned stupid, you know. But when you're aware of everything that's happening and there's nothing you can do about it, that's not a good feeling. So here's the bottom line. If any of my kids are listening to this and you're going through a tough time, don't negate it. Don't say, well, I should be feeling this way, I should be feeling that way. There's no such thing. You're like, that's life. And if you can embrace that, if you can embrace the suck, you're gonna do awesome. And I'll leave it with this. It is impossible to fail if you try. And I know that sounds corny, but even if you're 50 and you're still not getting what you want, or whatever it is, if you keep trying, you cannot fail. And I told you that was going to be the last thing, but I'll share this with you. When I was diagnosed, this is probably on another video somewhere, is I didn't think about my house. I didn't think about my car or any other possessions I had. The most important thing to me that I thought about were my family and my friends. And that's all you have. Like, if you have a choice between, making a lot of money and having a lot of nice things, and that's at the expense of your family, and even me, I wasn't making that much, but like, I worked a lot of holidays, and I just figured that's just the way it goes. It's radio. It's like, you got to be there. That's the job that I picked, and I look back on it now, and I'm like, yeah, you should have worked all those holidays, and your priorities should always be on your family and friends, always. And if you're working way too much and you got nice stuff, who cares? You will literally be dead. Like, not many people, like 99% of people don't live until they're 100, until they're 90, or the average age is what, 81? It's not even a blink of an eye. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the whole ride. And if you're, and I talk, like, this is for my kids for when they're grown up. And it's like, if you're going through a divorce, or anything like that, just remember, you always have control over that stuff, and you can just do your best. And I've lived with this mantra since high school, maybe even before that. If you always do the right thing, then you don't have to worry about anything. If you don't, and there will be times in your life that you won't do the right thing. I didn't do the right thing all the time. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, what were you thinking? And I've not to get into it, but I just did some things that I really regret. And it's not like, and I look back on it and I can understand why I did it, but it still was in no way right. It just wasn't. My whole, I'm thinking, do I want to say? No, I don't. It's already, we're like going into 13 and a half minutes. No one's going to watch this. Maybe my kids will, but just remember, man. It can always, it will get better. Even for me. It's like you keep going, and eventually you'll find the answer. But sometimes it takes a little or a lot of searching for what that answer is. So I think that's all the advice that I have today. But again, my pet peeve, like, what are you complaining about? You're alive. You're alive. That's more than 99.9% of people on this earth, if you count the history of it. It's more than they have. So take advantage of it.